Hello everyone, thank you for stopping by to my channel. Today I have for you a quick tutorial on a shabby chic card using the Prima Love Story paper pad, and I'm using the 8x8 paper pad to make a quick card, and it's going to combine papers and some lace. So I have already prepped my card bases and some layers, and I'll show you what I have. So I'm going to be using some beautiful shimmer cardstock, and this is a Crafter's Companion card, and I've cut it down to size. And to get this size, so the card itself is 8.5 by 8.5, and to get this size card I cut down A3 cardstock, and it gives me my beautiful card base. If you don't have large card packs like the A3 size, you can cut down your 8x8 cards, even 12x12 cards. Get your size and just have a little hinge on the top so you can connect to the base card, which will give you a top folding card like this. So this is my card base, and for the layers I'll show you the piece that I'll be using the sheet. So I've got this sheet which I've already cut out, and I've got a couple of layers of that which I'm going to show you. So this page here, I've cut this section off. Let's move you across there. So I've cut this section off here, and I've distressed the edges, and I've also kept this strip here, and I'm going to use that as a layer. So I've used one page there to give me two elements to my card, and then I've also used this beautiful, let me see where it is. It's got the mannequin at the bottom. Let's see. Where is it? This one. So I've also used this page as one of my layers as well, and the only thing I've done to this one to give me a bit of texture is I've added some texture paste with crackle, and for this I've used the Finnabair texture paste white crackle, and it's given me this beautiful crackled effect, and it just looks really pretty. And I've used a Kaisercraft stencil to do that, or a mask rather. Okay, so those are my layers, those are my papers that I've used. So what I'm going to do, I have got some mirror card that I'd like to use on the bottom layer, and this is silver. So I'll be using a combination of wet glue and some double-sided foam. And first thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to stick this down, and I'm not going to distress the edges because I want a neat edge to the silver. And I'm going to put this down with some wet glue. Okay, so with wet glue, obviously you can, you don't have to be exact, you can move it and get it as central as you can, and you can go right to the edge. Okay. So that's going to be my first layer, and I love using mirror card to use as my base layer to cards, as well as to cut out sentiments with. I'm going to take it up a bit. So you can cut the center out and save that for another card, but I like the weight that it gives to my cards, and I don't mind using a full sheet like this. Okay, and I've got a bit of glue here, which doesn't matter because it is going to get covered with another layer. So I'm going to leave that to a side for a second, and I'm going to work on this layer along with some beautiful off-white glitter cardstock, and I plan to use this layer on top of the glitter cardstock. So for this, just move this card base to the side. For this, because I've used the crackle, it has buckled a bit, as you can see. So I'm going to use a combination of hot glue as well as some red liner tape, because this is the strongest double-sided tape you can get, and it's really good to stick into a number of different surfaces. So I'm going to just snip some pieces off. And I'm going to just do that on two of the sides, and I'm going to go down the middle. So with this video, I was going to do a live, but I've realised that not everybody is in their craft rooms or crafting as early as I do. I get up really early on Fridays because it's my day off. Just have a lot of things to do, and I think I'm like a kid. I get really excited, and right now it's coming up to, I think, 10:45 a.m. and I'm already up and in my craft room, and the house is spotless already. So before I stick this down, I'm just going to add a bit of hot glue just to help it adhere to the glitter a bit more. So I'm going to just put a dab of glue. My glue gun's playing up a bit today. Not too much, just a bit onto this layer here. And it's going to give me a tiny little glittery edge, which I love. Okay. Like so. And then I don't mind these little bits, it just gives it a bit more of that shabby look. And what I will do, I can see a bit that needs a bit more sticking. I'll just put a tiny bit of hot glue in there. Yeah, so if you don't like this kind of effect where it buckles, you can add a bit more hot glue to where you want it to stick a bit more, like this. Because glitter is one of those surfaces that is quite hard to get paper down on unless you actually scrape the glitter off and then put your glue down, but it's a bit of a faff. So onto this layer I've got my lace and trims. So I've got these beautiful lace and trims that I want to use, and I want to use it on this layer so I can wrap it around and have a neat edge to my card. So that's why purposefully I have left it longer, so I can just wrap it around like this and have a neat edge. So I'm going to have this one going up like this, so I'll just quickly stick this down, and for this I'm just going to use some hot glue. I'm not going to be overly fussy, and it just basically needs to show you what I'm doing. Okay, so I've got this piece. There is a right way and a wrong way to every lace, so this is like that. Okay, so I'm going to just glue these backs of the lace. And then here as well. Okay, like that. And then I'm still not done with this layer because I want to add the other lace. So this one is like this, and then I have this beautiful white lace here that I want to use, and I've got this beautiful tulle trim, and I want to have this at the bottom towards here. But before I put this down, I've also got a paper doily I want to use on this layer, and I just want this pretty little edge here. So I'm going to get some white wet glue, and all I'm going to do is just put it around the edges. I'm not using hot glue for this because it's quite fiddly, and this is just enough to stick it down. Okay, and I want it kind of up here because I want to catch a bit of this edge. And I know what you're thinking, oh, most of that texture is disappearing, but that doesn't matter. It's all about layering, and you can still see bits of the crackle. Okay, then the next layer is going to be this beautiful tulle. On top of that is going to be this lace here. So with the tulle trim, I am going to stick it here because I don't want it to dip when the card stands up. So let's see where I want it. About there. So I'm just going to put in, my glue gun is really messing about today. I'm going to put in a bit of glue, and I'm going to put this on here. And again, because I want a neat-ish edge, I'm going to wrap this around like this to give me a nice finish. So again, I'm going to turn this around. Add that there. Do the same here, like so. And then on top of that, I've got my white lace, which is a really pretty white lace, which is going to go there. I love that lace, it's so pretty. And this lace isn't too heavy, so I'm thinking I can just wrap it like this. Okay, so I'm going to turn it around. Again, same thing. Just glue it down on the edge like this. And this bit has already been stuck because there was a bit of glue, but I will reinforce it with a bit more glue. And it's looking really messy in the back, which I do not mind because it's pretty on the front. Okay, next layer will be after I put this onto the base card. So I'm going to grab my base card again. So this kind of bit is done now, where all the messy back is done to it, and there's nothing else I want to wrap on that layer. So this can now sit nicely on top of this beautiful mirrored top section of the card base. So I do want a bit of a dimension on this, so I'm thinking I will put some double-sided foam pad on this. So let's get to it. And I don't want to put double-sided foam on these layers because they're already dimensional. So I'm going to avoid the thicker parts and just put my double-sided foam on the parts that there's no dimensional trim on, if that makes sense. And then on the flat lace, that's fine because that's quite flat. Okay. And like always, on my double-sided foam, I always put a bit of wet glue on just for extra security, because foam tape over time does dry out and it loses some of the adhesion. So it's always, I think, just to reinforce it and make it a bit more future-proof and permanent. I hate this backing. Oof. Come on, come off. Okay, so that's the last bit, so I say. Okay, so that's the last bit, and then I'm just going to add a few tiny blobs of wet glue to the foam, just on the edge. Okay, and I think I want a bit more tape here and here because I think it just needs a bit of pushing up on the edges there, because I don't want it to dip in any areas. Okay, so that's that. And now I'm going to stick this layer onto my mirror card. So I'm going to get it as central as I can. I go quiet when I concentrate. Okay, so that's fine. That looks really pretty already with all these different layers. And then I will have this pretty piece here on top of that layer, and I have gone round and kind of distressed it. I think I need it a teensy bit, a tiny bit more shorter, so I'm just gonna cut a couple of millimeters off the edge, and again I'm just gonna go in, and this is how I distressed it anyway. I have got a distressing tool, but I just find this a bit quicker. And I'm gonna stick this on here, still showing off that lace. So I'm going to put this down with hot glue because it's going onto fabric. So I've just glued the edge. That's going to go there. Okay, like so. And then my final layer is this one, and this layer will go in the center. And I've also die cut with a Crafter's Companion sentiment die this beautiful hello, and all I've done to this hello is I've embossed it with some embossing powder. In fact, I've actually got the embossing powder still out because I bought this at least probably 4 or 5 years ago, and there's still so much left in it, and there's lots of different pastel colours, and this is the one I used. It's like an off-white, vintage white kind of a colour, very opaque, and that's the name of it. I don't know if they still exist or if they still make them, but they're really, really great opaque coloured embossing powders, and all I've done, I've just embossed that die cut, which will be going on top of that. So I'm not going to use any flowers on this, because I think I was gonna, because I pulled some out. I pulled out these 2 packs because I wanted some white flowers, but I think it's just so pretty by itself, it doesn't need flowers. So I'm going to leave the flowers out, and I'm going to get this stuck down. So I'm going to have a bit of dimension on the top, and I'm going to stick this bit here with some hot glue. So dimension on this section here, which is going to be done using some more foam, and I'm just going to pop it on here. I've got some white foam pads somewhere, and I cannot find this humongous roll that I had. Okay. I think my little Kian comes in my craft room, and he takes things, and I don't know where he puts things. He uses my foam pad. That's my little boy, by the way. He uses my foam pad sometimes just to stick random football cards on things, and I keep telling him, you don't need these. Like, yes mummy, I do. So he uses whatever he likes in here. So I've added a bit more of the wet glue to there, and then here I'm just going to add some hot glue. And I'm not adding any glue to the bottom here because I can leave this as it is. So I'm going to have that just about there, so you can still see most of the elements peeking through. Okay, and there's some dimension, so this bit isn't stuck, which is nice. I'm just going to add a tiny bit of glue here because I've missed this little bit. Okay, so that's how that's looking. Really, really pretty. And my hello, I'm just going to grab some scrap piece of card. So I've just got some card here, and you've seen me do this before. Gonna put some glue down, and I don't want it adhering all the way. I'm gonna kind of give it a bit of shape, and I want it on this side and this side. So I'm gonna pop some glue on either side of the word, on the H and the O. Okay, and I'm gonna have it about here. Okay, like that. And then I think it needs some pink, something pink here. So I have got some pearls which I will be using, and I've got some beautiful shades of pink, and I think this middle pink colour goes really well with all the lace. So I'm gonna take probably 3 and just add them here. So I'm going to use my wet glue again, and I'm going to add a tiny little glue dot here. No, it's not coming out. So this is a tattered lace glue that I've got. I'm going to use 3 little dots where I'll be putting my beautiful pink, it's almost like a vintage pink pearls. They are double-sided, and not double-sided, sticky back pearls, but again, for sake of reinforcing them and having them a bit more permanent, I always put glue under them, and just like that. And then this one just needs to come down a bit more, have them a bit more even, and I think that's it. I think that is my pretty card done. And for the insert, because I always add inserts to my cards. I mean, this is a big card, but luckily because it's an 8x8 card base anyway, I've got choice of what insert I want on this. So I really like the back of this one. So I'm going to do it while I'm actually filming. So I like the doily hearts that are on here. So I've got my mini little guillotine to the side, and I'm just gonna eyeball it and cut it down to size because I want it a bit smaller than the actual card base. And that's just going to sit in there. So I'll stick this down. Again, I'm just going to use some wet glue and finish this card off. And this glue is actually pretty good because it doesn't, you know, some wet glues can buckle and make your card warp. This one's actually pretty good, it doesn't do that. And that's the Crafter's Companion glue. Not the Crafter's Companion, what am I talking about? It's the Tattered Lace glue. Crafter's Companion website, they have a lot of glues as well. And from there I usually get the Collal glue, which is a really good quick dry glue. So that's my insert, and this is my card. So I'll just quickly show you again what I did. It's a bit of a glue or something sticking out of here, which is really annoying me. So I'm gonna excuse me. So here is my card. It's a beautiful 8x8 shabby chic card using the Prima Love Story paper pad. And you can see all the layers, and I've used some lace, I've used some trims, I've used a hello sentiment from Crafter's Companion, beautiful paper doily, some crackle paste, some glitter card, some mirror card, and it just looks beautiful, and some pearls. And you can just catch the glitter just there. So it's a very, very pretty card, and it's really easy to make. And I've used paper and lace, and those two elements I love. And together it's even better. So thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think. Check out my blog. I do have a blog. I'm not very active on it, but I do have a blog. So if you want to check that out, it's all going to be linked below. So thanks for watching again, and hope you all have a lovely day. Take care. Bye.